the media is predictably as possible is really what the headline should be here. And they're lying about Dragon Age. They're lying about audience reception, all because they have to shill for this. Paul Tassi is one of the biggest liars out of all of the media. He's just as bad as Kotaku working for Forbes. He's anti-gamer. He's shown it multiple times. And it's kind of masked off as we have what's going on for real with Dragon Age and just how badly it's going for BioWare. And we'll talk about it here because we are the most trusted name in fandom now. And these people are the legacy dinosaur media. They're going to go away because they keep lying. They keep attacking gamers. It's so ridiculous. We're going to win this, guys, and it's 2024. I'm very optimistic. We get a couple of days to go before the election, so I know that a lot of the entertainment YouTube's going to die down as everybody's kind of holding their breath right now. But if you look at what's happened in 2024 so far, woke games really have failed. They've been losses for these companies, and this game has some players. It's not like Conquered or Dustborn, but it is not at a level that is supporting a AAA budget. And that's what we're going to show you today. It's not users who, quote, don't play the game are making it, they're claiming it's a review bomb, like always, right? It is actually people who just are sick of the woke nonsense and sick of these properties like Dragon Age, which everybody loved from before, just not being respected. So we'll get into the news in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, guys. I really appreciate you for being here as we cover all things in the media. You're an amazing audience. I appreciate you a lot. I am a fantasy writer, and so I've been inspired a lot by video games. Dragon Age is a wonderful setting, and gosh, I'd be happy to write Dragon Age novelizations or whatnot. BioWare, call me. I'm sure. I'll hold my breath. But I have a wonderful fantasy series for you. It is 6 books long so far, and it is on Amazon on ebook, print, and audio. A lot of this is actually more inspired by the old Final Fantasy games. I'm a little older, guys, so I liked Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI. I did a lot in here, little fun stuff that you'll enjoy if you're fans of those series. And this is just epic, sweeping adventure. It'd make a good video game series, too. So check it out. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Grab the whole series. It builds up so nicely. And there's a crazy war that develops into Book 3. It's awesome stuff. So I appreciate you for being there and supporting our art. All right. So you could see the cope here from Paul Tassi. And it immediately goes into, it arrived with a pretty solid critic scores, racking up an 84 on Metacritic. Yeah, we've seen this before, where the critic scores are huge and the audience score is not so much there. You can see generally favorable from the critics. User score generally unfavorable. So what does it mean? If we learned anything from The Acolyte, the companies go out and they have their stooges like Paul Tassi write all these articles claiming that it's review bombing. They did this for Star Wars, as we saw earlier this year. Rotten Tomatoes had the lowest score for any Star Wars ever, and they stopped people. They tried to take the site down for a bit, make it very difficult to leave reviews, all because Disney didn't like the reviews. And then of course they claimed that the reviews were harassment to try to play victim on this level. So this is the new tack for Dragon Age: The Veilguard right away, as people really don't like it. So here, Paul Tassi lies more. He says it appears to be pretty solid sales, at the very least putting up the highest player count EA or BioWare has seen on Steam. So you see how they move the goalpost, because for this game to be a success, it needs to be profitable. For it to be profitable, it needs sales way, way higher than they're actually getting right now, and player base way, way higher than is playing right now. He says it's good console performance as well. And notice he just says this stuff, pretty solid sales, seemingly good console performance. Now, this is, as a writer, these are words that you use to, they're called, kind of filter words. And those words you make it so that you're not writing confidently. And this means Paul Tassi is not confident in what he says, obviously. After the critic score reviews come in, the user scores go live, it was exceptionally easy to predict how they were going to split, check this out, between players who played the game and the ones that likely hadn't. You can spot the difference. So you could see this, with what he's saying right here. You can guess which 3 platforms you require to own the game to rate it, and which one does not. Metacritic user score being mainly used as a protest metric, where it seems every other review listed there accused the game of being woke, using DEI, or pushing an agenda. So, yes, here's the deal, Paul. We watched these video gameplays. We watched what they did with the art direction, with the story direction, added all this stuff in there. You have to be able to protest and make your voice out there for sure. But it also doesn't mean these people aren't playing the game. That's the other thing. People might have gotten this game, and it had very large pre-orders because of the Dragon Age brand. So a lot of people got the game, didn't like it, are turning it off, and that's that. Now, we're going to get into why it's really not performing up to the standard as it is, and it's absolutely crazy because, of course, it's all the gamers' fault here. The gamers are the bad persons here. This is all largely based on a plotline in the game that went viral where a character identifies as non-binary in their personal quest line. It's also a case where you can choose to be canonically trans in the game. This joins, of course, the option to be the straightest, whitest, cisgender character ever, if that's what you so choose. Oh, please clap, everybody. Please clap. It's so ridiculous. The confirmed scores are quite good with his total sum history for the franchise, and of course, he's shilling hard for the game here, which is absolutely true. Now, look at the comments on Forbes. This is not, I'm sorry. These are not the comments on Forbes. It was sort of thing. But look at this. The vast majority of these reviews from consoles are unchanged from people who pre-ordered the games. In other words, the 5-star reviews were made a month before the actual game release. So this is the opposite of what Paul Tassi said. Somebody called him out on this. These games were reviewed with pre-orders and given 5 stars even before they got the game. But they could do it on these platforms because they already pre-ordered the game. Very, very funny. And again, the ones who hadn't played it like you are the favorable reviews, and we know that Paul Tassi's not playing this game. We're not anymore in the 80s or 90s where the only way to know about a game was to read some words in a magazine and low-resolution screenshot. Now everybody can see what any game is just by watching some YouTube or Twitch Let's Play. Here we go. So all of the comments on Forbes are actually telling Paul Tassi that he's wrong about this. Very funny. Know your own audience, bro. That you're supposed to be appealing to gamers, but you're going to actually have to like and play games first before you actually get into that. And that's why Vera Dark's out there saying that these people really need to play the games before they actually review them. That's one thing that we know Forbes and Bloomberg and Kotaku and PC Gamer don't do. But here's all this stuff. Bloomberg saying it faced turbulent development. Ooh, what a thing. And you could see, I can't believe how much I like the fights in Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Polygon. Nobody who's a player is actually saying this. I've watched a lot of streams about this stuff not being said. And so what's actually happening with this? What are the gamers actually seeing? It's the first weekend, and the concurrents on Dragon Age the Veilguard are up 82K peak at the moment. It was at 70K on its launch day. So this is something that is not that high. And these concurrent players usually pick up a lot higher. So this guy says, I don't know how you can look at this and compare it to Outliers that broke records and call it an L. Not every game needs to make all the money. Some of the money is pretty good, too. Look at the cope here. Some of the money is pretty good, too. This is a AAA game, right? And because this is a AAA game, that means it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. And when you've got 82,000 players, that's not enough. You need hundreds of thousands, you need millions of players to pay for that kind of development. That's just kind of how it works. And so, yes, it does. When you're paying for that kind of money, it does need to break records. It does need to be up there. When it's a 10-year development game, that's the case. I mean, there's so much invested into this. This is a soft Dragon Age launch, and therefore that softness is actually losing money for the company. So while it's playing and people are playing, that's not a good sign. So here's what Grum says about this. AAA games with AAA budgets, just like I said, need to be in the top 10 to make enough profit to have been deemed worth the risk for their outsized budgets. Dragon Age has consistently fallen off the top 15 every day since release. It just doesn't perform. And that's the case, guys. It does have to be top 10. With Star Wars Outlaws, it never even got into the top 10. Dragon Age did on its release real quick, but it just tanked real quick. The standards are different for large AAA publishers who are answerable to the stock market. The pressure that investors will ask is, why should we invest in EA and risk $100 million plus an 80K peak when we can invest $30 to $50 million in a Wukong and have a $300 to $600K peak? The investment then shifts accordingly. This is the landscape Dragon Age Veilguard competes in. It's different from private indie companies, and that's the deal. Because these AAA games just cost so much to make. So when you turn off gamers, when you do this kind of thing, it's crazy. And with a game like Dragon Age, like that's a game where like people binge it, right? RPGs and I'm a big RPG guy. This is my wheelhouse. You sit there for 80, 100 hours, and you just binge it. And so what happens is, what should happen is, day one you've got 70K people, and then all those people should, if people like the game, they're still playing it day two. And so the new people who bought the game day two, it should compound, and every single day should be compounding, and it should be up to like 300, 400K if this was a tremendous success, like they're trying to lie and say it was being, but it's not. It's just kind of staying flat. That means people are tuning out. There is no compounding effect, and this is going to drop off pretty quickly, and it's not going to go well for BioWare as more people play it, and more people are realizing that, you know what, this game's just not that fun. The storyline's not what we wanted it to be, and it's failing as an RPG. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button, my friends, and please check out my fantasy series for Steam and Country and its subsequent sequels. Really appreciate you being there. We'll be back soon.